It's absolutely ridiculous, and let's talk about how ridiculous it is. Angel Reese just got absolutely torched by experts after drowning herself in scandal after scandal. Like, seriously, what does she think, that she's some kind of queen of the WNBA and we all owe her something? Please, the reality is exactly what fans have been saying for ages. She's nothing but trash that the WNBA has been coddling for way too long. Yeah, she's the worst basketball player. The hypocritical officials of this sad excuse for a league always had her back, overlooking her fouls, ignoring her ridiculous antics. But what did they get in return? A stab in the back. She went full steroids, and the entire sports community came down on her. What you put in, and right now you are getting exactly what you deserve. Then, as if that wasn't enough, she dresses like she's auditioning for a scandal and plays the "I'm being sexualized" card. And when she got bored of that, she tries to blame Caitlin Clark for hijacking her European contract. Are we watching basketball or some twisted reality show? I think Angel Reese is jealous of Caitlin Clark. She thinks she's, the reason why this is all happening here. Angel Reese, the one-time golden child of the WNBA, has officially crashed and burned in the most humiliating way possible. I mean, how do you go from being an all-star in 2024 to a walking meme faster than you can say career suicide? She wasn't just supposed to be another good player. She was supposed to be the face of the WNBA, the future, and now she's the biggest joke in women's sports. No scratch that she's the biggest joke in sports, period. Reese told her lonely male followers. Hating pays too. Translation: I need attention. Translation: I need money. Translation: nothing about me is authentic. Trans: here we have someone who spent months crying to the media about being sexualized, only to turn around and make the most hype.
Reese told her lonely male followers, hating pays too. Translation: I need attention. Translation: I need money. Translation: nothing about me is off.
Critical career move ever. Her Instagram, where she's so proudly showing off to 2 million followers, is now a thirst trap central, and yet she acts shocked when people don't take her seriously. Real, the addiction to attention is real. Really, Angel, you're out here complaining about being objectified while posting half-naked pics online, expecting us not to notice. The double standards are so obvious. I don't even know if she's aware of how ridiculous she looks, and then instead of realizing she does the thinkable, she leaves basketball, her only lifeline, and jumps straight into adult entertainment. Yeah, let that sink in. The same Angel Reese who set a double-doubles record in 2024, the same player who made the All-Star team, is now chasing cheap headlines in the most embarrassing way possible. But when the entitled complaints are coming from Angel Reese, it makes news throughout the mainstream media. The WNBA had no choice but to cut ties with her, and honestly, who can blame them? She went from a future legend to a walking disaster, tarnishing not just her own name but the league's reputation too. She's turned herself into a sideshow act, a cautionary tale of what happens when you let your ego and thirst for attention run wild. And now, instead of being remembered for her talent on the court, she's going to be remembered as a player who couldn't get out of her own way. Comes out and says she ain't the only one. Everybody's watching. They are watching me too. They are watching. Fans are absolutely roasting her, and you know what? She deserves every bit of it. Social media is ablaze with people calling her out for being a hypocrite, a sellout, and a joke. The woman who was supposed to be the future of the WNBA is now nothing more than a laughingstock. The memes are endless, and at this point it's clear she's brought it all on herself. How does one manage to fall this hard, this fast? It's not just a mistake, it's a career catastrophe of epic proportions. That's some of this drama, and she started some of it. To be fair, even the experts are fed up. Sports commentators, analysts, people who used to respect her are now saying she's the biggest disappointment in the history of the league. And guess what? They are right. The fall from grace has been brutal, and yet Reese seems completely oblivious. She's still out here
got some of this drama, and she started some of it to
flaunting herself like she's some sort of celebrity, when in reality her legacy is in ruins. It's like she's living in a fantasy where all attention is good attention. Be the big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Cur's the cowardly dog. Nobody mourns when the villain catches a Ellen. Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain, Reese, and as if her career wasn't already on life support, the steroid scandal was like the final earth-shattering explosion that sent her straight into oblivion. Caught juicing with EPO and anabolic steroids. Wow, just chef's kiss to that genius move, and she wasn't even subtle about it. Everyone saw her desperation from a mile away. The Chicago Sky couldn't fire her fast enough. After that bombshell dropped, and the WNBA kicked her out like yesterday's trash. The supposed star who was going to bring glory to the team, yeah, she's now the league's walking punchline. Added animosity, beef, and physicality from Angel is definitely boosting interest as well, and the worst part, Reese couldn't keep up. So what's a player to do when they are not good enough? Oh right, pump themselves full of steroids. Except even with that boost, she was still flopping around the court like a complete joke. How do you juice up and still manage to fail so spectacularly it's almost like the universe was giving her a lesson in humility, but she just didn't get the memo. Experts like Stephen A. Smith and Patrick Bet-David were brutal, and rightfully so. They called her out for exactly what she is, a player who thought shortcuts would save her from her own lack of skill instead of stepping up like a real athlete and putting in the work. She chose the easy coward's way out, and now she's paying for it big time. So, human like all this has happened since I won the national championship, and I said the other day I haven't had beat since then, and it sucks. But I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything, and I would still sit here. The Chicago Sky team, chemistry gone, friendships shattered, playoff hopes crushed beyond repair, all because Reese couldn't cut it on the court and decided cheating was her golden ticket to success. Well, guess what? That ticket just got revoked. The Sky entire season spiraled into a train wreck, all thanks to one selfish player's idiotic choices, and now the team is left to pick up the pieces of what could have been a promising season. And icing on the cake is Angel Reese trying to hijack Caitlin Clark's European contract by accusing her of, wait for it, chasing money. Seriously, Angel, the irony here is almost too much. You swimming in scandals, throwing stones at someone who's literally out there dominating the game and breaking records, and now the self-proclaimed villain has decided to go after the Queen. Now Angel Reese has decided to antagonize lonely grown women, many of which Reese's career is now defined by failure after failure, but she had the nerve to come for Clark, who's actually making moves for all the right reasons. Clark wasn't trying to escape for money, she was running from the toxic mess that you, Angel, helped create in the WNBA. It's honestly laughable how Reese thinks anyone's buying into her sob story at this point. Same Caitlin Clark that Angel Reese is desperately hanging on to for relevance, saying Caitlin Clark that Angel Reese is trying to create this one-sided rivalry with a rivalry that no one cares about but Angel Reese herself. And let's talk about that hypocrisy, because Reese really served it up on a silver platter. Here she is still knee-deep in a steroid scandal that practically tanked her career, but she's out here trying to tear down Clark, who's busy making history. Reese was desperately clawing at any opportunity to
Same Caitlin Clark that Angel Reese is desperately hanging on to for relevance. Saying Caitlin Clark that Angel Reese is trying to create this one-sided rivalry with. A rivalry that no one cares about.
Stay relevant even if it meant tossing Clark's name into her drama to deflect from her own disasters. It's the kind of envy that's so obvious it's embarrassing. A national title she didn't celebrate with her teammate. She mocked Caitlin Clark, so there's jealousy there. I certainly see that with her. I don't know about the Lee. While Clark was out there actually earning her headlines, Reese was busy throwing shade to distract everyone from her steroid-fueled downfall. Then of course Reese had to take it one step further and play the race card. Now they found another victim, the fans of Indiana. Now I'm going to side a little bit with these idiots. She accused Clark's fans of being racist, hoping that would somehow flip the narrative in her favor. But Angel, here's the thing, no one was buying it. Absolutely no one. Oh yeah, white people. Oh yeah, white people racist. White people death threats. White people blah 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 blah. And that's all I hear when I hear these things. This wasn't about race or gender. This was about you trying to run from your own dumpster fire of a career instead of owning up to her steroid scandal and taking responsibility for her actions. Reese decided to lean into the drama, thinking it would distract everyone. It didn't. All it did was make her look like she was drowning in her own mess and blaming anyone but herself. Threats: I've been sexualized, I've been threatened, I've been so many things, and I've stood. And let's not forget the tantrums. Oh, the tantrums. It's like Angel Reese spent more time throwing fits than actually playing basketball this season. Every time the spotlight shone a little too brightly on Caitlin Clark, Reese couldn't handle it. She threw tantrum after tantrum, each one more embarrassing than the last. Absurd, right? It wasn't even about what Clark did or said. No, Thomas was just trying to shift the spotlight off her own struggle. Her public meltdowns became more frequent than any significant on-court moments. At this point, no one even remembers what she accomplished on the court because her off-court disasters have overshadowed it all. The pinnacle of Reese's meltdown came during a game against the Indiana Fever. In an absolute fit of jealousy, Reese lashed out physically and smacked Clark in the head. Yes, that's right. When Reese couldn't beat Clark with her skill, she resorted to cheap shots. It was a moment we all realized she had completely lost control. Continued the stupidity. I mean, she cheered on her teammate as she shoved Caitlin Clark, knocked Caitlin Clark in the head, and a bunch of other stupid stuff. She wasn't just embarrassed